Thank you very much for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Several areas to watch. Fortunately, no immediate signs of development. The biggest concern in the short term will be what's going on near Central America and the Western Caribbean with that strong tropical wave moving in. That strong tropical disturbance will bring flooding, the potential of some life-threatening flooding. No, it's not a named system. Several days ago, it was looking like this area could become a hurricane. Not the case now, but the moisture is still there, and that is running right into Central America. This spot here may try to develop. You see that in the Gulf of Mexico, watching near Houston and Louisiana, heavy rain across the southeast, and another spot there near Bermuda that is trying to develop. That's going to lift up to the Atlantic region of Canada. I'm going to get into that for our friends in Canada, and then watching these areas out here. So yes, busy, but the positive news is we don't have anything super crazy trying to spin up into a hurricane right now, but watching this, you can see these, you see where you get these brighter, deeper reds? That means a lot of moisture, and that is going to bring us those big time downpours anywhere from the Yucatan Peninsula swinging back toward other parts of Mexico, back through Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and right on the edge of Costa Rica and Panama. So let me start with this. This is the immediate concern. I do this channel for safety, and this is the immediate concern. In this entire area here, we have a high flood risk. So thank you for spreading the word about this. That means we're going to have some life-threatening flooding. Not blowing this out of proportion. This is exactly what we're going to see the next few days. We've already seen some very serious and life-threatening flooding in parts of Central America and Mexico, and it's just going to get worse. It's not going to be for all of us, but what we're going to see is the intense downpours, the runoff, and that is going to lead to those dangerous rivers, the dangerous river crossings. Please be safe. If you need to head out to get water, do so accordingly. Please use some extra caution. And mudslides will be likely. This is going to be the case right through the weekend. So we're thinking of our friends right here. Keep me posted. Do so safely. I'll be watching the comments. No, it's not a hurricane. That's good news. The bad news is we have very heavy rain that could last right through the upcoming weekend. And watching back through Mexico, you see here some of the heavier rain. A little spin may try to develop here. Sometimes you get stuff that brews close to home, and we could see that near the Houston-Beaumont area back through Louisiana. There's been a lot of heavy rain through the southeast U.S. But here's that tropical disturbance that brought some areas of heavy rain yesterday in Jamaica. As expected, that continues to work in. That rain only picking up Belize and Honduras, and we're going to see that in Guatemala, the runoff in the mudslides. I am very, very worried about that, very concerned about that. So again, if you have friends, family in the area, thank you for getting the word out as this tropical disturbance slides in with tropical downpours. On the backside of it, we still have that chance of some rain. Cayman Islands, Jamaica, parts of Cuba, even Haiti and the Dominican Republic, but the rain chance going down. Now, a few other spots I'm watching, but overall here, we've had a lot of dry air, and with that's kind of been eating away at these tropical waves. Here we are in Dominica, St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Trinidad. Now, as we get into next week, there are going to be some stronger tropical waves come off. It's going to be a wait and see. This pattern's been very unusual. The models, once again, are trying to develop the tropical waves next week and working tropical storms and hurricanes across the Atlantic. Let's wait and see on that, though, because the air has been very stable. So plenty of time to watch those. Now, each hurricane season, even starting before the hurricane season in May, you start to get these tropical waves. Those are the tropical disturbances, not water waves, but above our head that move across. 55 to 65 of these move across. Some have a little more moisture, like the one running into Central America right now. Others develop into hurricanes. We're getting close to 50 now. We're in the 40s as far as the count goes for these tropical waves. So we do have a long way to go throughout the hurricane season. Let me get to this, and then let me get to the models and show you what we're seeing out there, kind of on the big picture, so you can pick a spot where you are. But I want to touch on this first. Look at these totals. You get back through, here's Belize, for example, northern Honduras. I'll widen out the view in a second. This black shading in here, even this red shading off of my color coding. So this is over the next 3 days. Some areas will get 150 millimeters of rain or 6 inches of rain, and the red shading would be even higher, close to 200 millimeters or upwards of 9 inches of rain, 8 to 9 in some spots. That's why I've been highlighting that flood threat. So watching over toward Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama. You get back toward Colombia, those very high rain totals in through here in parts of Mexico too. I'm going to broaden out the picture in a moment, but look at these colors just popping up. That's the concern, and that's why I mentioned the life-threatening flooding, a possibility in parts of Central America today and tomorrow and right through that upcoming weekend. Not as much now in Jamaica, but still on the backside of this, some scattered areas of rain and storms where we could pick up 2 inches of rain or 50 millimeters of rain. Now let me start a little small, then I'll widen out the view and get into the Atlantic region of Canada too. So I'll widen out the view for the Gulf in a second, but this is that pocket there. Not organized. I'm not seeing it spinning up. We were talking about that yesterday. Very heavy rain though at times moving in. Spotty in nature elsewhere, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, back through Barbados, but this is where the bulk of the moisture is. Now, this will work in. This is tomorrow. Same thing. It's going to be day after day with really heavy rain, so that runoff's going to be intense. Even if you don't have some rain where you are, it may be running off down a mountainside from another location, and this is by the time we get into Saturday. We're still watching out for these areas of heavier rain, and that's why a big concern for me are those river crossings where you're just trying to get across, and I do not want any folks getting swept away, but we are going to see some bigger issues in through here. This is Sunday, the same thing. Not seeing development, of course, watching the Gulf, a lot of rain building here. We'll see if anything does try to build up in the Western Gulf and Bay of Campeche, but overall, watching out for some of that heavy rain in parts of Central America. Now, here's the bigger picture. So you could watch here in the Gulf. This is the America model. I'm going to zoom down into this one near Bermuda in a moment and watching those other areas. In the short term, these areas in the Atlantic not seeing signs of development, and it's just kind of a wait and see over here, the northern Gulf, to see if something does want to spin up. But regardless, the rain once again is going to be so very heavy. Let's go out in time here. This is late on Sunday. There's still some of the rain in Central America, monitoring the Gulf. I'll get into Bermuda and the Atlantic region of Canada in a second, and then the models down the road. Let's go way down the road into next week. We'll monitor close to home, but as we go out in time here, let's go about a week from now. This is deeper into next week, and you can see tons of rain, so we'll see if anything does want to spin up nearby across the Caribbean Gulf or out here in the Atlantic. Now, the models do start to develop some tropical waves here, but as I mentioned, we've seen that before, right? Where it looks like things are going to develop, and then the dry air just kind of gets sucked in. The air above is a little bit stable, and that's been a good thing. So we'll see how these go next week, but there should be some stronger tropical waves moving off. But as we get into next week together, we'll be able to cover that. Now, I showed you the Gulf of Mexico. A wait and see on that to see if there's any development. Next name on the list, by the way, is Francine. Here's Bermuda. You get over toward Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, over toward Newfoundland. In this area may try to develop into a tropical or subtropical storm. Now, regardless if this area gets a name or not, this is going to bring heavier rain starting late tomorrow. So giving you that heads up, Nova Scotia, seeing that Prince Edward Island, and then it just moves in tomorrow night and pretty much all day Saturday. So a big rain event. We'll have some gusty winds, of course. This is Saturday, moving into Newfoundland. And then on Sunday, here comes a front that gets tied into it, and it kind of pushes that area away. So yeah, it may feel like a tropical storm is on top of us in the Atlantic region of Canada on Saturday, and then still some unsettled weather, but then that front starts to move in. So north, south, east, west, there is plenty going on. Here's a look at the winds. A little gustier as we work our way toward the central and eastern or western Caribbean today with that tropical disturbance. Some of the winds about 35 miles per hour, 56 kilometers an hour, kind of that purplish pink shading you're seeing in there. So we'll see some gusty winds accompanying the heavy rain at times, and then just watching to see if we get any little circulation here. This is tomorrow, where we do have a brief chance near Louisiana, northern Gulf, of a tropical depression or tropical storm trying to form, and watching these other areas too, and just keeping an eye on a few spots of some stronger winds at times. This is by the time we get into the upcoming weekend. So the seas are going to be building. Now, we're going to be watching that. We've already seen it through here, and of course, southeast U.S. and off the mid-Atlantic by Bermuda, with that area that's going to elevate the seas by the Atlantic region of Canada. This here is by tomorrow. Also, this spot here not developing, but choppier seas near Antigua and Barbuda and Anguilla as we work our way into the weekend. And then you see the Gulf, it's going to be choppier, especially if something does try to develop tropically in nature. But as I mentioned, we just kind of need to just kind of babysit that, just kind of keeping tabs on that over the next couple days. So very high rain totals in some sections across the northern Gulf. But we've been dealing with that, right, for a long period of time over toward the southeast. Bahamas hit or miss, and then we get to I did point out the heavy areas of rain earlier in some locations. Let me swing around the horn, watching out for this rain very close to the Cayman Islands. We're going to be on the edge of some heavier rain, heavier totals today. Elsewhere, 10 to 25 millimeters of rain possible just over the next 3 days in the northeastern Caribbean. The rain chance isn't super high. Same thing, Dominica south through St. Lucia, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad, Barbados. It would be a passing shower. We could get a couple, a little bit more at times, Guyana, Suriname, northeastern of Venezuela, but we swing back here. This is the mess. Anywhere from about central sections of the Yucatan of Mexico south, super high rain totals for the next 3 days, and that's why there are going to be mudslides. The rivers are going to be completely swollen in many locations, and they are going to be very, very dangerous. And this will last through the weekend, as I mentioned, but even longer term, because that runoff just keeps those rivers very elevated, very dangerous as we work our way even into next week, and watching out for some rain and storms in parts of central Mexico. So Jamaica, we're looking at scattered areas of rain and storms today, not as much as yesterday for most of us. Cayman Islands, the elevated chance of rain today. It's going to go down across the Cayman Islands tomorrow. And then we get over toward Trinidad. We're looking at a 30-40% chance of a shower. Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, 30-40% chance today, 40-50% chance across St. Lucia. It would be passing variety. Eastern Caribbean, we're not as kind of crazy right now with the rain. Grenada, rain chance very limited, 30 to 40% chance, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and just a 20% chance for today in Martinique. Rain chance 30% in Dominica. We're looking at a 30% chance today in Guadeloupe, so very isolated, mainly dry. And of course, if we are dry this time of year, we are hot. Antigua and Barbuda, the rain chance will go up a little bit tomorrow into the weekend. We'll see that same thing as we work our way towards St. Kitts, Nevis, and Montserrat. 40% chance today and a 50% chance for tomorrow. Anguilla and St. Bart's, 40% chance of some rain the next few days. About the same, St. Martin, Saba, and Statia. Rain chance about 50%. Scattered afternoon and evening storms in Puerto Rico. 30 to 40% chance U.S. and British Virgin Islands, a 40% chance across the Bahamas, especially northern Bahamas, 20 to 30% chance in the Turks and Caicos, mainly dry. Still a chance of a few scattered showers and storms in the Dominican Republic. We get back through Haiti, rain chances more limited, a 30% chance. But Belize, we are really going to be picking up that higher threat of flooding. Keep me posted in Belize location, what you have going on over the next few days. We'll be watching those comments. We have this weather community to let everyone know what's going on. Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, rain chance stays on the small side. It would be a very passing shower. About a 30% chance today in Guyana. A little bit more tomorrow, about a 50% chance. 40% chance the next couple days in Suriname. And running at a 40% chance of some scattered showers and storms in Cuba. Very high chance of rain parts of Costa Rica and Panama. And you see that rain chance in Nicaragua. It's going to be really high as we get toward the weekend. And it's going to be really high as well in Honduras. Watching out for some flooding that will start today. Nicaragua, Honduras, back toward Belize, Guatemala, and El Salvador. Giving you the heads up. Very safe the next few days with any travel, just trying to get out and about, just trying to get food and water. We're going to see the runoff very intense. Guatemala and El Salvador. 60% chance Mexico City, 40 to 50% chance across the Yucatan Peninsula, a little bit more to the south closer to Belize, 30 to 40% chance northern Colombia, isolated to scattered showers and storms northern Venezuela. And I mentioned Bermuda. We have that area that's trying to develop nearby, lifting up to Canada. That could spin in a better chance of showers today, and of course the higher seas. So it is so very busy. Tropical wave bringing in the flooding, the life-threatening river rise, watching out for the mudslide threat right through the weekend, and monitoring the Atlantic, monitoring the Gulf of Mexico. Many areas to watch. I am on top of it for you, watching it nonstop behind the scenes. So thank you for being with me. Thank you for your trust during the hurricane season. We're thinking of you in Central America. We don't need a name system to cause these bigger issues. Watching out for the rivers. I'll be watching those comments throughout the day. Be safe near the rivers. Have a good rest of your day.